Hey folks, my name's Chris Wessel. Today we're going to be tying an Atlantic salmon pattern called the Mar Lodge. This is a really old pattern and it came from Europe. We found a place for it here in Newfoundland and Labrador, and we've kind of put our own spin on it, replacing a lot of the wing material with just a moose wing, and we're going to be tying it in that hair wing fashion. So without further ado, let's get on into it.
Alright, we are going to start off today with using a Partridge M2 hook. I believe this is a 6, maybe a 4. And we're using UTC 70 today, which is usually the thread that I use on most of my wet flies. And I'm also going to bring the thread a little bit past the hook point here, and the reasoning behind that is that I find these hooks do have a pretty big area between the point and the bend back here, and I don't really want to lose all that real estate. So as you know, in past videos I'd usually start at the hook point, but so we're using a 14 uni mylar in silver. And go to right about there because we're not going to be using butt on this fly. Alright, our next step is some golden pheasant crest. So the Mar Lodge has been around for a very long time. It's a European, I believe it's a European pattern. You'll often see people tying classic salmon flies in this pattern, but we here on the East Coast tend to fish hair wing patterns of this, and here in Newfoundland we like to fish this pretty simplified and with a moose wing. And I'm going to tell you now, the moose wing version of this fly is absolutely killer. I love this fly on a dark, dull day, and I really like this fly for fresh fish. Try gripping it down lower this time, where the stem's a bit thicker. Oh yeah, one more. That's it. Perfect. Just have a quick look there. Alright. Going to clean that up along the shank there and do a wrap down and up. This is a really thin thread, so that works. Alright, so now we got to tie in a couple of materials before we start wrapping up our shank. I'm going to start with a size small silver oval. And I'm just pulling that through to where I want it, because I'm going to use this oval to kind of bulk up my body. So you'll see I'll tie that underneath the shank, and that'll just create a bit of girth or thickness in the body. And I'm also going to get some more mylar. Looking for a number 14 here. Perfect. And the body's going to be silver as well. Just going to wrap this, making sure that our oval stays underneath, and sometimes I just use my nail and hold it on this side so the oval doesn't pull over to the other side of the hook. That's exactly what I want there. So I'm just going to put down a little tiny bit of head cement there, and that's just going to hold my mylar down after, God willing, you catch a fish on this fly. So this body just isn't straight mylar. It also has a bit of black floss in the middle. So we're gonna, and I'm sure there's other ways to do this, but the way I tie this fly is that I bring the mylar up to where the front of that black floss is going to be, and I'll just tie that in there with a couple wraps. Just going to leave this here hanging. Kind of gets in the way a bit, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to use a bit of uni stretch today in a black. And I'm just going to tie that in there. And guys, I'm sure there's another way people do this, and I'd love to hear your comments on it, but this is kind of what's worked for me over the years. And I just kind of wrap back. And I'm pretty much where I want to be there, so I'm going to come back up. And that's also where I want to be. I'm just going to tie that in. I'm going to cut that off. This looks like a mess here now, but it'll come together. So I'm also going to put a little bit of head cement up here for the rest of that mylar. And oop, got the wrong side. And I'm just going to kind of wrap there, and then, do I still got the gold side? Jeez. Alright. There we go. Sorry, I just got to come back a little bit because I put a little bit too much of that black floss on there. And I'm going to bring this mylar up to where I'm going to start my head. Right about there. Perfect. Not perfect, but that'll do. Not really loving this golden pheasant. Oh, there we go. Sometimes you can actually just run your blade along that golden pheasant just to curl it up. A little bit of a hack there, I guess. And we're going to bring in our rib now. 1, 2. Questioning how this may look on your side. I'm going to check it out now. Not the best rib spacing towards the end there, but yeah, we'll take it. So much pressure doing these videos because, you know, there's no do-overs. I guess if I want to take a new video I could, but alright. Now we're going to go with a natural guinea fowl throat. Anybody who knows me knows just how much I love guinea fowl, but let's give it a shot. So I was saying earlier about how we here in on the East Coast Canada, and like Newfoundland really too, we take a lot of older patterns that are often really dressed up in other countries, and we kind of just make a simplified version of it. And I mean, this works awesome for fishing here. You know, a lot of us tie our flies for fishing and not so much for showing off our artwork, I guess. And this is one of those patterns, so you'll see a few similarities, I guess, in something that's traditional with the Mar Lodge, but for the most part, not so much. So I'm going to size that throat up to come back to that ostrich churl there. That should work. Yeah. Woo! Guinea fowl worked for me so far. That's always a good day. Alright, so as mentioning earlier, we're going to put a moose wing on this. A lot different from those big fancy feather wing versions of this fly that you've seen, but I'm a firm believer that moose is a very superior product for Atlantic salmon. And if you haven't tried it, try throwing a moose wing on next time you tie a pattern instead of squirrel or something else. And I like the wing a little bit sparse, but not too much. So I'm just going to come up around. I'm going to split that thread through the cut in there. Oops. And that just kind of secures it in place a little bit better. But we'll also throw a bit of head cement or glue on that. Yeah, that's nice. Alright. Normally I throw super glue on. I got some head cement here, so that's what I'll use. And you'll see I always kind of hold my throat and my wing with my other hand when I'm just finishing off the head of my fly. And that's just in case anything's going to be shifting there at all. I just want to make sure that it doesn't until I have everything securely in place, and it can't really shift, I guess. Alright. And a little bit of fuzz in there from the moose. I thought I'd removed most of it, but that is oh wow, I'd fish that all day, guys. That's how I like them right there. I could actually grab a little bit of head cement that I want to use here. Throw a little bit of vineyards on there. Usually I have a bit of watery stuff for this first coat. I think this stuff is after kind of drying up a little bit, and it's not as watery as I'd like it, so I'll be throwing some paint thinner on there. Not paint thinner, just thinner in general. I guess probably paint thinner. There we go. That is the Mar Lodge. I love it. Awesome pattern, guys. Really consider throwing one of those in your box. So thank you all very much for popping by. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so if that's something you're capable of doing. And if not, just glad to have you along. Until next time, stay safe.